It will never probably ever be reciprocal. So what do? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what to do. I mean, it's heartbreaking, seriously. But I mean, the really, just in my own case is if I mean, I literally wasted 10 years waiting for this girl. And it was just it was really a tragedy that I wasted that many years. And when I should have been out, instead of spending all my energy being moonsick over her, I should have spent it, finding someone else, and and so that I wouldn't, at the end of 10 years, all I had was, nothing, basically, But anyway, do you have any great wisdom on this, Roy?
Well, one way to go is Dante had Beatrice, and he didn't have her physically, but she was a muse for him to be very creative.
Yeah, and also Don Quixote. Yeah, right. Go ahead. Yeah, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, and two is once you start working with the universe will open up ways for you to be able to get your beloved's attention. And if it doesn't, then it's best not to force it. And once you learn how to live that way, that special person will come into your life, and you'll have those skills following the universe, and you'll be able to get the clues, and you'll be able to progress.
Well, one thing Marion Woodman says is that, one of the aspects of the being close to the earth thing that we've been talking about, and the feminine receptive, kind of the Taoist way, is the acceptance of what happens to us in life, and not it when we don't accept it, our will and ego is at work, and we're resisting the universe, and we say no, 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 and the universe is giving us a no, but we don't. And what she said, all the no's I ever got turned out to be the greatest yeses, and she says some of the yeses I got turned out to be great big no's. She says you find a woman that you projected the anima on, and she says yes, and then you find out she's absolutely wrong woman for you, because you were not in love with her, you were in love with love itself, so this aspect of not accepting what goes on in the universe is the ego resisting the flow. Resisting it in really in futile resistance. There's nothing that can happen, or nothing that can be done. But I just thought that was really a good way to put it. But anyway, I mean, on the other hand, I tell you how many times I drove by that one girl's house. One time a cop stopped me and asked me what I was doing, which was embarrassing. Hi, hey Angel, how you doing? Nice to see you here. Yeah, we're I guess somebody needs to do a dream. Did you have a dream, Angel, or not? Or if you do, you can put it in the chat if you haven't don't have audio. But I know that Charles probably has a dream, or Roy. So maybe somebody else will show up. I don't know. Oh, Gary's here. Okay. Hi, yeah, Angel, it would be fun to get for you to, I think you gave us a dream one time and that was a really good dream. So if you have any, why don't you look around and type it up and then put it in the chat. We can get started on it. But anyway, hi Gary, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great. Yeah. We had a really good time discussing the Swan Maidens.
Mm,
That was pretty fun. And then now we're going to discuss with the Swan Maidens, the water beings, that see, there's the elemental aspect of the feminine that is the swan, and who's got completely black flesh and white feathers. And now we're going to talk about the yeah, well, Angel, yeah, just you we have it is a real kind of a process we go through here, that it starts out very clumsily and awkwardly, but then at the end it sometimes there's a little bit of magic, at the end. But Charles, did you have a dream you want to?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't we were working on one of yours? I think I have it in a text. Let me see if
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered it pretty well.
Okay.
But I mean,
Well,
we go over it again.
well, I don't know.
I feel
it's
like
been
I
a minute.
have. I feel like I have a different dream that would be much more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and
Much
do that?
better.
Yeah. All right.
I will find it real quick.
Okay. Yeah, that was the one about the heavy metal band. That was the one that we had before. And then we had Gary's and Roy, you can bring up one of your gems too, if you have any, or I could bring up one of mine too. I've been having some pretty good dreams lately. I don't know why. Well, I think part of the reason is I'm pretty sure my wife just told me she tested positive for COVID. I got my test today. I don't know what it is, but we're both doing very well now. I mean, I had a pretty bad sinus infection, but I think that's over with. Yeah, I had some really good dreams here. And I have some dreams that don't seem that great. And then when I go through them, they just are amazing. If you spend the time on them. Let me give, while you're looking, have you got it yet, Charles?
Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, I'm actually just trying to find one that I think would be interesting. You have recent dreams. They've been kind of hit and miss, but this one was pretty good. So I am at my aunt and uncle's house with my cousin Alex, and there's a couple girls there that want to see what schoolwork I've been doing. I have a folder where I show them, and it's all very basic elementary stuff. But there's one thing that they want to see in particular where I had to make a character with certain requirements. It was a drawing of a woman that could fly, could like ignite and become flaming, and had animal companions, including a turtle. They were not really impressed, and I was not very, very proud of it. And I said that I don't really do this kind of stuff anymore. All I do is work. And they left me and went over to my cousin. And just a random note. Apparently, my bed was laying on the countertop in the kitchen where we were having this conversation. And my cousin Al said he was going to a party after work, and he had headphones, and so hold on, I asked. Oh, so he had these headphones on, and he was like, he had headphones on and I had headphones on that were both connected to each other by a cable. And he was speaking like into the microphone attached to the cable, and then it was going to my earbuds or headphones or whatever. That's how we were communicating for whatever reason. I asked what he had been doing recently, and he said that he had just been smoking weed somewhere. And yeah, that is all I remember of the dream.
Okay. All right. Now you're gonna need to remind us on each one of these because I didn't get it all. Okay. Now I'm gonna go through each part and then fill in details we missed. You're at your aunt and uncle's house. This would be your mother's sister, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. You're at the mother's sister. Everything seems to take place at the mother's sister's house. We very rarely see the mother. Okay, that's interesting. Now you're with your cousin Alex, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Now there are a couple of girls, so there's two, right? Two
Yeah.
girls. Yeah. Two girls who want to have come over to the house. Is that correct? Or are they there already?
Yeah, they're there already.
There's two girls in the house, and they say
Yeah,
they
they
want
don't live there.
yeah, they're visiting, and they want to see your the work you do while you are learning in the process of development, right?
Yep.
They want to see the work that you're doing on your process of development. Okay. Now you show them. Okay. Now, this is it is, but it ends up to be you show them what you're currently working on is a drawing of a woman who can fly. Can you go over her powers again?
Yeah, she can fly. Like I wrote it as turn on fire, like the flaming
Ignite.
Human Torch from Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
Yes.
Basically like that, and that had animal companions, one of which was a turtle.
All right. Had animal companions, one of which was a turtle. Okay. This is a superhero. Okay. What would you describe her as? I mean, who is this woman?
Some type of mythological hero that I had to create for an assignment.
Okay. All right. You had to create a mythological hero. So this woman is a woman that can fly. Okay. So she's related to air, not earth. And she is also related to fire, some transforming aspect. So she's really not a very authentic feminine creature. What do you think about that? Other than that her companion is a turtle. That's the only thing about her that's very feminine. The fact that she can fly and the fact that she's related to fire is not very not very feminine, I don't think. Okay, let's just we'll talk about that. Although she has animal companions. Now, this is the one aspect that would be very related to the great mother. and one of them is a turtle. Now, these two girls don't seem very impressed with this stuff. I'm not sure that they're now. See, the thing is, it appears to be that is this a spontaneous activity of the psyche, or is this the food candy of the ego? You know, the dream ego. It seems to me that the aspects of this are more have to do with an ego creature rather than one who is a redemptive figure. Okay, she does not seem like a redemptive figure. She seems like some that like I mean I think we'll talk about it. Let's just keep going. Okay, so anyway, so they don't seem to like this, right? They said they didn't like this.
Yeah, they're not impressed, and I'm not very proud of it either.
Yeah, they're not impressed. You're not proud, and you say, well, all I do is work. Okay, now that really sort of encapsulate this image. This image has not is soulless. Okay, the image of the feminine who can fly is related to the like a human torch, fire, and that has some animal companions, among whom is a turtle. Seems a little soulless. You know, there's nothing about her that is, to me, contains magic. A woman who can fly and can turn on fire. You know, okay, and they don't seem very impressed. We're not proud of it. And so now we have an excuse. All I do is work. Okay. So the reason that my feminine, this feminine figure within me is soulless is because all I do is work. So I'm soulless too. I mean, I don't know what if that's what it's saying. Okay, so they leave and go see Alex. Okay. They leave completely, don't they? Because you go see
No,
Alex.
he's in another room.
But then you go see Alex.
Yeah, I go into the other
But they're
room.
not there then, right?
No, they seem to have left, but
Yeah. Okay, now
like,
you
or
go
at least
see,
I can't see them.
can't see him. So now you go see Alex, and he's going to a party after work. Now you guys are talking through, again, this is very strange because you're not engaging in an I thou transaction. It's sort of through these headphones, indirect communication, some type, indirect, right? I mean, are you looking at each other? Or?
Yeah, we're sitting across from each other, but for some reason, instead of just speaking to each other normally, we're
You're using
communicating through these headphones.
wireless communication of some kind. So that's very interesting. Okay, and then at that point, all he says is he's just smoking weed. You know, so he's really is. I would say by just smoking weed, you know, he's really is trying to sedate himself so that he doesn't have to face the opposites. You know, instead of facing the challenges of life, he just sedates himself. You know, and so yeah, on the one hand, you've got one person whose feminine figure is not is this kind of a cartoon character, two-dimensional, you know, two-dimensional figure, and and it's because we have to work all the time, you know. Well, anyway, that's a start on it. I don't think we pulled anything together yet. What do you think, Roy? Do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, Charles said that he had this figure, some sort of assignment where he was supposed to draw a mythological figure. Do you have the illustration of this figure?
No, I never, I never drew it outside of the dream.
What was this mythological summit? Was that from the dream or was that something from your life?
That was from the dream.
Okay. Yeah, he's not connecting with the women in the dream, and he's not connecting with the mythological figure. He's not connecting with Al. He just ain't connected. But, you know, I still see some numinosity in this figure. You know, he has this creative element in him, but now he's got to the point where he's just working. You know, he doesn't want to get in touch with the creative element because, you know, of some hidden reason. And these other things will come up and take him away from it. And I think the dream's sort of telling him that.
What do you think, Gary? You have this dream, or you're his analyst. What do you think?
I don't know. I think the comments have been pretty good so far. How recent was this dream?
This was actually last July.
So this wasn't last July. You weren't heading out to a job that was taking 60 hours a week of your time then. This was before that.
Right.
Because I thought, wow, yeah, that could really relate to that. You know, I guess the part that I'm still struggling with and trying to figure out, well, what is the significance of, you know, kind of being connected through the headsets to was it Al or Alex or
Alex.
Al? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm not, you know, I think there's something more there we're not getting, but I think, how did you feel towards the two girls that were interested in your work?
It was like, you know, I wish there's something here that, you know, could impress them, but that's just not the case. I just was kind of bummed out. I was just like, yeah, I know that there's nothing here that's going to really stand out and impress them, so they're, you know, not going to, I don't know. It was a just negative kind of experience.
Yeah. I mean, but I agree with what, you know, Roy was saying. You know, it's like there's some luminosity in this, and yet at the same time, you know, the things that are there are kind of the ego creation rather than, you know, coming up from like the unconscious, which is, you know, I think where you would hope to have, you know, something a little more authentic. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have much to contribute on this one.
What did you think, Charles, that made this dream stand out to you? What aspect of it is the most surprising, or what is it about the dream that was particularly?
I think the part about the drawing of the woman, I think, is the most interesting part.
You're not proud of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the dream, about the drawing of the woman? What do you think about the woman?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, like as far as when I woke up and remembered it. But I was just very curious about it. And, you know, why because I seem to have a choice in what, or actually no. It says I had to make a character with some requirements, and I don't really know exactly what the requirements were, but I guess that it had to be someone with some sort of special powers, and those were the powers that I chose. That is, I'm not exactly sure.
So had to draw a woman who had special powers. Okay, and the woman, these are the powers that you chose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it says I had to make a character with some requirements. I don't know what the requirements were, but I assumed that it was some sort of like some type of supernatural powers or something. And why, I'm just drawn to why I would choose that exactly, to do a drawing of a woman that could fly. And
Well, I don't think there's any
power of fire.
mystery about that to me. If the ego or the dream ego or the ego is going to choose powers for the feminine, that's why I say it's so strange, those powers. That is not, those are not ones that you would normally associate with the redemptive feminine. So this is not a redeeming feminine figure. For some, it is someone who is going to be able to match what the dream ego does. Well, let's put it this way though. Let's say that we lack earth, and that we are swimming in water without islands, and we're supposed to draw a feminine figure, and we want one that can suspend itself above the water and doesn't need earth either. So we're looking for this woman who can fly, and yet that does not solve the problem of the fact that we don't have enough earth. So it really is not a solution to anything. Now the fact that she can turn herself on fire, I really don't know. That to me is again, it is other than, okay, let's say there's three things. Flying, can set herself on fire, and thirdly, that she has animal companions, including one who's a turtle. That is, it is the non-redemptive feminine. So now we're telling, okay, then now why do we tell these two girls that, no, so first of all, those all fall flat. You said you think they were pretty interesting images for the feminine, and they are, but not in a redemptive way, not one that is going to make us whole. Do you think it is, Charles? One that is going to make?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know, but what was your emotional feeling for it when you saw it? You weren't proud of it. What does that mean?
I don't know if that meant that I was not proud of it because of how I drew it in a technical sense, or if I was not proud of it because I didn't think it was very imaginative. But I seem to just think it lacked just value overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is that it is not the treasure hard to attain. This is not the treasure hard to attain. It is something to do with the very thin veneer of the ego realm. There isn't any depth to it. There's no three dimension. It doesn't sink into the earth. It doesn't have weight and gravity, you know, and it certainly is not the kind of feminine we need. I mean, the feminine that I think we would need would be to have an earth mother come to us, and want to bear our children, and and bring us in and be this feminine, very strong feminine presence in our life, who doesn't fly, who stays with both her feet on the ground, you know, on earth, you know. So anyway, that um, uh, that creates an immediate lack of interest for the anima. The anima says, "Hey, you are so far off course right here. We're interested in seeing your work. We want to know." The anima, the double anima, is coming to us. Our double soul comes to us and wants to know what we're working on. And the double soul is the one that is is almost emerging through the middle plane into consciousness. And they want to know what we're working on. What are you working on in the place of learning? And then we show them sort of a comic book character, and they just shake their heads and say, "This is not the kind of work we need from you. We're your soul. This is not the work we need." And then we give an excuse like, "Hey, what do you expect? All I ever do is work." And they're saying they just walk away. Okay, so we've not passed their test. We are not doing something that is worthy of their positive response. In one case, we need better clothes, to impress the anima. But she's saying, this is two-dimensional. This has no depth. This is not redemptive. We can't, this is what we're working on. There is no link to the earth. There is nothing transformative about it. The fire consumes itself. It doesn't, it's not something that is transformative of us and making, where does this make us, go to personality number 2? There isn't anything I see there that it is. And the anima seems to reject that. They go away. So now we're left with either the helpful companion or the shadow. Okay. He's going to go to a party. And we're communicating sort of indirectly. Like Roy said, there's just this aspect of, okay, it is really 3 aspects of not communicating. Number 1 is our image of the feminine does not, okay, let me just say this. The image of the feminine did not come from prayerful request of the unconscious to show us the redemptive feminine. Instead of doing that, we just said, we tried to be a movie writer, and write our own script. And the soul is saying, this is not from your heart. I mean, I just feel a hole in my heart right now because of that way that we responded. That, I mean, I don't know if you guys feel it. I just feel a little pain in my heart because that the anima is left wanting, leaves. So now, where are we? Okay, nowhere. We are just left with the helpful companion or the shadow, one of the 2, at the house of the mother's sister. And now instead of speaking directly with each other, and nothing really ever happens, does it? I mean, basically, all we find out is that Alex is, what are you doing, Alex? And this is why I think it's the shadow. He's not helping us do anything. He just says that he is rather than facing the challenges of life, he is sedating himself with weed, you know. So I think it is the shadow figure. So now I think that, do you see a relationship between this somewhat thin two-dimensional image that did not come from the depths? We didn't ask for a redemptive mythical figure. We asked for one that was almost pornographic, let's say. You know, it's really autoerotic. You know, it has nothing to do with the redemptive feminine. And the anima is saying no, and it leaves. So now the anima's gone. Now it's just us in the shadow. What's the shadow doing? Getting stoned, you know. So anyway, there was an, and what do you think, Roy? After do you have any comments on that?
Well, I think I mean, we got to remember Charles is a double Leo. That's a lot of fire. That's a lot of sun. But he doesn't seem he's in contact with it. So naturally, he's going to have a mythological figure that's fire. I mean, it makes perfect sense. But he's not in contact with it. Everybody's in a trance, including him. You know, it's just a trance scene going on. I don't care how much fire this mythological figure has, it can't reach these people.
Yeah. How about you, Gary? Do you have any thoughts about it?
Oh, maybe just a few on the, the communicating through the headphones, because it's like, to me, it's sort of like a degree of separation. I mean, if you were having like if you were in the presence of someone, that you would then communicate through headphones is like, it's like, well, wait, why are we adding this barrier? What is this sort of this
Artificial.
Yeah, feels very
something
artificial. And that he's in a, an altered state, which isn't a particularly good one too, is,
Yeah, I mean, he's not helping us. I mean, it's, Charles has had some friends who are helpful companions, but this one, what are you doing? Just smoking weed, So anyway, it seems to me like it is a dream again of a missed opportunity, I mean, it was like the one where we could have went and sang with the anima of the alchemical band. Here, the anima. Now, why would they ask this question? Why would the animas ask us? We're very interested in seeing what you're working on. What do they expect to see? I think they expect to see something that relates ego with the soul. Are you doing any work, Charles, that connects you with us, with the soul? And then we show us the work, and this is not connecting with the depths or with the earth. It's sort of a, it really is just some kind of a movie script thing, I disagree with the fire aspect, but I just wonder how redemptive it is, but if it's just representing the ego. But I mean, it was sort of another dream where we were asked to go sing with the anima, and we didn't, and she's saying, no, you didn't bring what I wanted to bring. So then we're left with the shadow.
But, it's, in a way, it is really kind of a, it seems like a message from the depths, because it's like they're asking him, well, what is your work to get in touch with this?
Yes.
And yet the work that's there doesn't have, it's just, it's an intellectual exercise.
Mhm.
And we know that this has to be, this has to be feeling, it has to be from the earth, it has to be, this connectedness. So I think it's also, I think, kind of a message of like, look, this isn't an intellectual exercise, and you need to go places where the experience is direct and not something that's of your own creation, an endeavor, so to speak, and, intellectual endeavor.
Yeah, I think. What do you think, Charles? I mean, to me, this is similar to the dream about the band. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I could see it being kind of similar to the dream with the heavy metal band. I don't know. I'm just kind of mulling it over and like thinking about what I don't know how to improve the situation within the dream, and yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's the structure of the dream's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know. Just trying to see, because it's pretty negative. So I'm trying to see how I could turn it into a positive.
Yeah, well, I would say that here I'm just going to give you my interpretation of the dream. And again, I'm just trying to see the symbolism. By the way, Charles, I just wanted to mention that the receptivity of listening and to people. You made a really good comment last time that I just passed over about what the symbolism of the mask is. One was that it was connected with being some part of the collective effort, but the other one you said is you don't want to infect one side with the other. You know, so when all Gary's friends take off their masks, um, Gary thinks now he's going to be infected with the collective or something. I mean, but anyway, it was a really good. I forget how exactly you put it, but when I heard it the second time, I thought it was just great. But I mean, to just finish up on this one, to me, it looks like at the house of the mother's sister. We are there with someone who's usually the helpful companion. He has two anima there. That's the magical aspect of it. The anima are the most magical thing to me is there are two women there, two anima figures who want to know what we're doing. They are very curious about what we are doing to to grow and develop, and they see it and they know this is not a cooperative effort, and it certainly doesn't relate to them, the soul, who are the soul, the creator of dreams and the creators of metaphors. These metaphors and images did not come from depths. They came from our own our thin imagination. you know, and they're not impressed, they leave. So that was the missed opportunity there, you know. So that's what I think it really is there's um, that if the next time the Anima shows up, we better show them something that has to do with them, something they sent us that we worked on. You know, if we had brought them a dream that let's say that we had brought them a dream they sent us and we had been spending much work on it. You know, Jung says if you work on the unconscious, it almost guarantees a response. It does guarantee a response. If you will work on the dream images, you do your active imaginations, she will respond to you. But this does not appear to be qualifying as one of those things that demands that it's going to absolutely guarantee a response. You know. So anyway, I mean, the thing is, Charles, you have so many. If you had taken a dream and done this, see, I don't know. I mean, this just seems. Don't you think this seems? What do you when you say you're not proud of it? I think what to me the reason I wouldn't be proud of it is because it came from me and not from the root that I came out of. That's why I wouldn't be proud of it. I'm not really proud of anything that comes out of me, you know, because I'm proud of being the midwife to something that comes from God. You know, that's what I'm proud of. You know, I can't really be proud because everything I do has a touch of morbidity to it, a touch of absolute overly sweet, sentimental bullshit. You know, I mean, don't you think? I mean, anything that you create, has the quality of the divine in it? I don't think so. You know, but anyway, since it doesn't have that, you know, the Anima are disappointed and leave, and then we're just left with a communication via some I don't really know. I would say now, Roy. I mean, well, Roy, it's fine, but Charles, what do you think the symbolism is of speaking? You're in the same room with someone and you're talking on headphones. I mean, you're Howard Stern or doing a radio program or something. What you gave us a pretty good answer on that mask. Do you have see a symbolism in that, Charles, or not?
I don't know. Because like part of me thinks it's like he's, you know, he's like speaking directly into my ear, but from a distance. And the way it happened, it was like I assume no one else could really hear him. So it's like having a little, you know, like the image of a little devil on your shoulder, like speaking into your ear. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, well, I would say that this was the point of the dream is that we're working too much on, let's say, computer games or something to do with ego or something like that, and we need to be doing soul work. We need to be taking these metaphorical images from the depths, and we need to be pondering them and walking around them and drawing them and thinking about them, and then through relentless memory, making them a stained glass window, you know, in our temple, you know, and that's what is really required of us by the Anima, by the two Anima. Any other comments? Yeah, go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, well, I'm taking a different take. There's so much doubt here, but the only way that we can get in touch with the second world is through a diamond. They're the mediators between the worlds. And when you get diamonds that are spreading doubt, as Charles said, the headphones, it's like the devil sitting on my shoulder. That's a diamond that's spreading doubt, that's spinning a trance. That's what happens. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody's saying, well, I caught them. There they are. There's a devil sitting on my shoulder. There, I mean, you caught them red-handed. Nobody's talking about that. If you could just see that. This is Donald Cowshed, the protector, persecutor. This is the persecutor. Nobody's talking about that. It puts you in a trance. It's just so clear. When you're ready to get in touch with your personal spirit, to embody your soul, that'll just move out of the way. But the cloud's just going to follow you everywhere until you're ready. You just can't see it. When is the epiphany going to happen? I'm just a prophet in the wilderness, just going on and on. Just nobody can hear it. I can't say it any clearer.
I have that in my active imaginations that I have to, the doubter that comes in is me. And I have to say, get rid of that guy. Can you help me get rid of him? I have to almost put distance between. And the only way I can put distance between me and them is to lower my center of awareness out of here and put it down here. And at that point, I can start to feel that doubter is not controlling the 45 minutes or whatever I'm doing, because now down here, I'm safe from the doubter, Oh, wait, Charles, there's another Charles trying to get in here. You got two Charles.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to my phone.
Okay, sure. All right.
All right.
Well, now does anybody else have a dream? I can put one of my dreams in here unless you have one. I mean, this is one I've never interpreted or anything. It's pretty recent. Unless you have one, Roy. Do you have one, Roy?
Well, I emailed you one, but we can do
Okay,
yours.
yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
let's do
I don't
yours.
care.
Let's do yours. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I am very people are always sending me things and I'm just oblivious. I don't ever see anything. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's see. Here we go. Great, thanks, Roy. Great, and this is a pretty recent one.
Yes.
Yes, good job. You said you hadn't had any dreams for a while.
Yeah, I got one or two since
Okay.
then.
Yeah, all right. Let me see if I can find the darn chat here. There it is. Okay. There we go. Okay, do you want to read it, Charles?
Okay.
Or Roy?
Okay. Let's see. This was on the 11th. That's Wednesday. Last Wednesday. Book in a box. I brought some books home. One was in a box or sort of a frame. Adelaide was going to take it out of the frame, but I said, just leave it in the frame. I could read the book through the frame. And then we have a hell of a scene change here. The dream changes and I'm driving with my mom. I'm driving my mom to church in her Cadillac. We went to church and we're driving home. The road eroded away and we had to get out of the car and continue on foot. We went down an embankment and walked along the shore of a lake and then back up an embankment to the road. A dog was with us. I had to take the dog off the leash when we climbed the embankment. We all made our own way back up to the road.
Okay. Book in a box, it's called. All right, I'm gonna get this going here. Just trying to get it in some place where I can kind of make some paragraphs on it. Okay. All right. Now we brought some books home. Okay. So we bring home some thing that it imparts some type of a learning or wisdom or a story of something. You know, in other words, a book is kind of an amazing thing. You know, before they had Gutenberg had the printing press, they're all handwritten, and it's just an amazing thing that we can have books. You know, and we bring one home. So this is someone wrote a really long thing, and we have it. Okay. Now, one is in a box or a sort of frame, and the anima is going to take it out of the frame. But I said to just leave it in. I could read the book through the frame. Okay. Now, how many pages are in the book?
I don't know. It's just like a 200-page book or something.
Okay. So could you kind of describe the frame? Is it like an easel or?
Kind of like a box is a frame.
Okay.
You know, a box is sort of a frame to contain something.
Okay, the box, it is it is in a box that you can't get it out of the box. So you're going to read the box in a container.
No, I'm going to read the book
Or you
through
read
the
the
container.
book. Yeah, you're going to read the book while it's in a container. Okay. All right. So that's pretty interesting that the you know that the book is going to be it has some need of being in a container, okay, in a vessel. You know, this book is going to be in a vessel, and let me just see if I can find something here. If I can find something, because I had a book's a dream somewhat similar to that one. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So we were
Yeah,
we were
that's
reading
like a
the
frame. That's a clear frame. It could be a
Yeah.
clear frame. A box can be clear like an aquarium.
yeah, we were reading the outer
Just
red book.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
And it soon became known that the true inner red book was going to be read. But first, its passage pages had to be immersed in water. So first, it had to be put in the vessel, you know, and then after it had been immersed in the vessel. So this is a very special book. It is a book that is contained by a quaternity, you know, by four sides. So it has, you know, it is almost contained in a quaternity. So the book is you know in a square, you know, and and it's a four-sided square, so it's 4 by 4, you know, so it's 16. Okay, all right, that's helpful. See, because it's very helpful because we need it because of the big shift in the theme here. Okay, so now let's just think about this a second before we move on to the next scene. We brought some books home. One is suspended in a four-sided box. The anima is going to try to remove it out of that. We said, no, we will read it while it is encased in this quaternity. We're going to read it while it's in its temenos, while it's in the sacred space. We're going to read it in a sacred space, its own sacred space. So anyway, that's scene 1. Okay. The anima is involved in this too. She wanted to take it out of the frame, but we say no, leave it in. Okay, now the scene shifts and we're driving with the maternal feminine to a ritual in her Cadillac. Okay, we go to this place and then we're driving home. Okay, and now so we're coming home from church. Now from that book, that this part would not happen if it hadn't been for the book. Okay, in the box. The dream changes and I'm driving my mother home, or mother to church in the Cadillac. We attend church. We're driving home. The road has eroded away and we had to get out of the car and continue on foot. It's amazing image. Okay. There's no road anymore. So now the maternal and us need to, who are returning from church, after we have attended this religious ceremony, there is no road home anymore. There's no road home. So now we have to become wanderers. You know, we have to continue on foot. There's no road to our home. We go down an embankment. So beautiful. We make a descent. We walk along the shore of the unconscious with the maternal feminine. And then we then back up the embankment to the road. And the instincts were with us. I had to take the dog off the leash when we climbed the embankment. And we all made our own way back up to the road. Oh, this, if this was like a short film, it hangs together, really does. Okay, can you imagine if you did this as a short film and people just saw it and that's how it went? To me, it makes sense. Okay, the first scene in the short film is we walk in the room with a bunch of books. One of them is in a box. The feminine companion comes over and says, "Let me take that out of the box." And then we say, "No, I will read it while it's in the box." In other words, that's the place it's meant to be. Okay. All right. Now, suddenly it fades out, that scene. And then suddenly we're sitting in a car with our mother and we're driving to church. Okay. We go into the church. We don't see what happens there, but then it shows us coming out, getting into the car. And we start to drive down that same road we came on. It's gone. Now, what's the meaning of the road being eroded after we went to church? What's the symbolic meaning of as we come back out of the church, there is no road home? Okay. The only way to get back to the road home is after going to this religious ceremony, is another religious ceremony. This other religious ceremony is with us, with the maternal feminine, and with the instinctive. We must descend to the shores of the unconscious and walk along it and experience it for a certain amount of time. And after that, we've experienced that, then we can return to the road, but not as a group. We all come up separately. There's this place that we come up. And now, at this point, we can really start on the road home. So it was a very pivotal moment to go to this church, because what happened in that church totally changed everything outside. And after we came out, the only road home is to descend into the unconscious, to walk by it with the feminine, with the instinctive aspect. And then at that point, possibly we can make an ascent and find the road home. And this all has to do with the book that was encased in the quaternity. Gary, what do you think about it? I think to me it is very mysterious. I don't know that I comprehend it, but I can feel its power.
Well, I agree. The first and second parts actually hang together really well, the book, because what do we frame? We frame things that are precious, that we want to honor in some way. So, and he can read the book through this lens of preciousness. And so, and then, going to the church, and they leave, and what would be the best possible thing that you have to do after an exercise of that form? You descend to the soul, to the unconscious. So yeah, I think you got it all right. The one thing that I find kind of interesting is the dog is with us. I had to take the dog off the leash when we climbed the embankment. It kind of says, okay, you can't lead the instinctive. The instinctive has to lead you. You have to give it, some free will in this. But yeah, what a dream. I'd love to have had this dream.
The instinctive leads the way up.
Yeah.
The instinctive is going to lead the way up. It's just August 11th. What that was a Thursday, you said, or
Wednesday
Okay.
was August
All right.
the 11th.
Okay, now Charles, let's hear your you're very good at this. So what do you think now? I really think you should be an analyst, Charles. Are you there? Yeah, okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't see the text.
Oh, here, I'll put it in again.
I don't have a super clear picture of the dream. But definitely seems like, I don't know, I love how the road, I don't know what word Roy used, but it seems to dissipate and disappear when you have to get out of the car. It seems like there's a totally new route that has to be followed, and that the mother and the dog are there, but you get to this location with them, but you gotta split ways on your way back to the road. I don't know. It seems like a change in path, going forward. But I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I'm just kind of thinking about stuff right now.
Yeah. Well, let's just sum it up, and then I want Roy to talk about it, because I mean, usually Roy blows us out of the water because we're on completely the wrong path. Roy, why don't you blow us out of the water first? What do you think?
Okay, some of my thoughts on it. First, nobody picked up on the last stream that I talked about that I had about my mom's Cadillac cocoa plant.
That was the one that was
with the cocoa plant. With the cocoa plant, and where I used my mom's old Cadillac to tie it up to raise it up
that was beautiful.
over the shade house.
I thought about it. I didn't bring it up, but I remember this is the second time we heard it.
So this is my second dream. All of a sudden, it has my mom's Cadillac.
Mhm.
So that's very, very interesting. So that says to me, my mom died in 2017. So I think she's trying to contact me. And in this dream, I mean, her way is to drive to church in a Cadillac and experience, the spiritual that way. And that's how I was raised as a kid in a Methodist church. And then after that, we had our own personal spiritual experience. And I think my mom understands that because that's what I wanted, the church to do it for me. That's what I wanted. I think in the dream it shows that she understands that now, and she actually went with me. She's with me just like she was with me when I was reviving the coca plant. She was with me, so I think she's contacting me and she's trying to tell me she's with me. And the book in the box thing is, to me, relates to the church and the road. The book and boxes are sort of the structure, but it's not the essence of the thing. The essence of the thing is your own personal experience. Like when the road ends, what do? That's how I connect those two.
The gospel in the church is the book in the box. I mean, this gospel in the sacred place. The dream before was now I did have a wonder after this. What do you think the reason is that I think I have a feeling of the fact that the cocoa bush was a tree and not a bush.
Yeah, it was a tree, not a bush.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that means?
That means that this is a great thing. This just isn't a bush. This is a grand thing.
This,
Yeah.
something
This is a very
permanent,
grand thing.
permanent and with very rigid.
Well, nothing's
very
permanent.
strong.
Nothing's
Yeah.
permanent, but it's just like Charles couldn't recognize the mythological figure, the greatness of it. He couldn't recognize it. I recognized this bush. This was a great thing. And my mom can see this now. She can see what I can see. She could never see it before. If she did, she couldn't see anything. She can see it now. She was going to help me.
Do you think this helps this dream, the first dream? I mean, to me, the fact that the Cadillac is so emphasized in this dream makes this dream come alive. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cadillac's running now. It doesn't do us any good to get home, but it's running.
Yeah, this great cocoa plant, the healing plant is down here like this. How do we write it? How do we bring it up? We anchor it to the feminine, to the maternal feminine. At that point, it also tells us more about the cocoa plant. Because the cocoa plant is our growth and development, and it needs to grow properly. It needs to be anchored to the maternal feminine. Okay. And we needed something to make it grow properly. We need something to tie it, the rope to make it grow properly. My mom's old Cadillac was nearby, which was rusting and not fixable. I hoisted the tree up and anchored it to the car. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, now, see, I knew this was when I was seeing that thing about the Cadillac in this, it was ringing some bells. Okay, now let's go back. That was on July 29th. So this was just almost a fortnight later. Does that mean anything? A fortnight? I don't know, but okay, now the okay, so the book in the box is the church that we're going to. They're the same thing. Okay. Now, but we have it at home. This thing that we go to and that's why I think we intuitively sensed that these two were intimately related. Okay. Even though it took a while to get through our thick heads. Okay. We have it at home. We have at home the place that the maternal is the anchor to grow properly, that we need to have a rope tied to. We don't have a rope tied to, we're like this. We need a rope tied to the maternal feminine. And that doesn't mean just the physical mother, because let me tell you something about physical mothers. They're just poor little girls that had you and did the best job they could, and we put this mythical thing on them. But I mean, look at women who have any problems with children today. They're not much older than or more mature than their children. I mean, they are human beings. But the thing that we rope our growth to is a goddess. Really is the goddess. And she's includes the maternal feminine, because that's who we came from, the original mother. And in her biological role, she is the goddess. Our own mother was, maybe not in her ego life, but as this biological life bearer, she was the goddess. And now we've anchored this growth to her through this Cadillac that served the cocoa plant. Okay, now we are going in that same anchor, we and the maternal feminine, and it's going now, and we're going to the book in the box. Okay, and once we get to the book in the box and we come out, now we know that the return home is transformed. It's not going to be the same journey home that it was to get there after what happened in there. Okay. Now, a different route is required. And this one requires a descent into the depths and a little walk along the shores of the depths. We need to walk close to the shores of the depths, with the maternal feminine and the instinctive. And after that, then we can perhaps go home, But so let's look at it again. We get the book in the box, and we know we can't remove it. So read it there in that sacred place. Ship Scenes picks up on the fact that we're in that anchor of the cocoa tree. We now ride, and this is up clear and unmistakable, hearkening back to the previous dream. No question. It's the same car that corrected our growth. We're riding in it now. We're riding to the place of transformation. We go in there, a magical transformation occurs. When we come out, the way home is never going to be the same. And it requires this. Gary, what do you think? It's beautiful.
Oh, no, I like what you've said on this. I don't think I have anything more to say, but yeah, just, Roy is in touch with something here.
That's very much. I mean, both dreams are very closely related. What do you think, Charles? Any further thoughts? Charles, are you there? I think he went outside because his mother was busy or something. Well, anyway, Roy, do you have any final thoughts on the dream? And We can just look at one of my dreams. It's one I've
Yeah,
never.
that's a really good point about, our moms are just poor girls trying to do the best they can. But, you and Tim are sort of into that, but I disagree. I think human beings or a woman is also the goddess. I don't separate it because I only believe in one thing. There's only one thing. And and I think it's fine to project on a person or a woman because it makes everything magical. And that is the one thing. It is all magic. So like we're animals and we're spiritual. I don't separate that. It's one thing. It's like the centaur. Maybe you believe in the same thing. Maybe I don't quite understand it, but the point I'm making from my side is I look at it as one thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, because those Swan Maidens were, everybody thought they were real. They saw them in the sky. I mean, there is an aspect of of that. What does this mean? When we do this, that the God is within you. Every one of us have that divine aspect within them. And it's the only thing is the aspect if you I don't know. I mean, it is I like I say, the biological aspect of our mothers is the goddess. The little girl that happened to become a mother is also there too. Both of those aspects. Well, I could show you a couple of dreams I had recently. Let me see here. One was this was a little goofy. I don't know what it was, but oh, this is a short one. I had a real long one, but it would just make us so tired we can't see straight. Okay, there. But this was a kind of a short little one, and it was seemed sort of self-explanatory. Let me see if I can get it in there. Well, we don't have much time, but I think we got enough time for this one. Okay. Damn it. Come on, baby. Ugh. I think I gotta unplug this. There we go. All right, there we go. Charging this doesn't like that. Okay. All right. Well, this is a dream I just had, I think 2 nights ago. That there were 4 aspects to a dream. One aspect of the dream needed to be put in a mail, in a letter, and mailed out to someone. I don't know who, and then it had something to do with the numbers 428 or 4 times 7. 7 is the kind of the number of wholeness, because it's me, the 4 directions, and up and down. So I mean, it pretty much encompasses the center and all 4 directions in the vertical as well. Anyway, so now the answer you get after mailing out the 4th aspect of the dream is the unknown missing piece to the dream. That is pretty cool. I mean, do you have any thoughts about that one, Roy?
No, that's pretty abstract.
Yeah,
Very
I know.
abstract. This
Yeah, I
isn't
don't
farm
know.
boy stuff here. We're out of farm boy land here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
pass.
I don't know what it means either, but it was pretty. I just thought it was mysterious. The
Well,
only
it
way you
sounds
can
cool.
yeah, the only now see, here's what I thought. the only way you can understand the dream is to have the God help you interpret it. I mean, the only way that you can understand the dream, the missing part of the dream, is you need to talk with the divine about it and ask him, what does this mean? What does this mean? And then you ask them what it means. Then you sit there as you're in meditation and you wait until you can see yourself sitting there waiting for the answer. And once you have imagined and picture yourself sitting there, so now I'm looking at myself, then I answer the question, you know. And usually, not usually, but I think every time I get an unexpected revelation, you know. I mean, and also it's just absolutely thrilling to me. And yeah, you know, one other thing, I had a dream this morning about, and I didn't have time to look it up, and it probably is not mean anything, but it was just the Bible verse, Matthew 16:41. I don't know what that means. I bet there isn't even such a verse. Or Matthew 10:16-41. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. But anyway. Well, anyway, I can tell you one other dream I had real quick. If Gary, you haven't had any lately, have you?
No.
All right. Well, this other dream I had, and it was the same night, was now this was a really interesting dream. It was there was a lot of these pictures of old trucks, okay, with you know, like maybe 10 boxes on the first row, and then it went up like 8 or 10 rows, and they're all like little drawers in a shelf, and in each one there was a head sticking out, you know, and it looked like caskets. Now, the only thing I could think of, this is an old picture, that this was the collective unconscious. You know, I mean, this whole thing was a collection of all these individual lives. I mean, that's what the great mother told me one time. She's, you know, I've delivered all kinds of people, and they lived your life. They were born, they grew up, and they faced the same things you have. I've lived with all of them, and now I'm living with you. Are you wasting my time or not? You know, and so there was just all of these things, and then suddenly a big truck comes along with a bunch of manly men shouting cries of freedom with no shirts on, and then I am on like a hook and ladder behind it, and I'm too shy to take my shirt off, and yeah, and I feel very precarious there. I don't really know what happened to that one. And at the end, I put the dogs in a maze of pens, and they didn't like it. I don't know. That was a kind of a funny dream, you know. But one that really hit me was my brother was feeding newspapers into people's heads, and I started to try to feed in mythical books. And he objected to this strenuously. And the books did seem to be a little noisy, with loud knocks on doors and yelling, and also singing in Latin. But the text to speech recognition was superb. It was if a human being or the original author was reading it. And then when I returned, my brother, in retaliation, rearranged the house, put spindly chairs where I had the big heavy chairs, and I moved them back, at least where I sat, and this seemed to offend him greatly. And then I find that my car was totally encased in ice, I had never seen a car so encased in ice. I tried to knock some of the ice off the front windshield, but just knocked off the grill work. I put it back on. The ice was, so I was trying to melt the ice while I drove. Have you ever done this? You turn on you wouldn't have done this, Roy. But you know, you've got your windshield frosted and stuff, and you turn on all your blowers because you're too lazy to chip it off, and you keep going like this. You know, I actually had a cop pull me over one time for driving with obstructed vision, and then he, by the time he was about ready to write me the ticket, I said, "Look, it's all clear." Anyway, well, next time maybe Gary, you try to have a dream, or I'll bring one of my dreams. I'll find a good one too, and we'll keep try to keep it interesting. And Charles, you try to bring a dream since you've been back from St. Louis. I mean, we need one of those. Have you had any, Charles? I'm not sure if he's there. Okay, well, I will tell him to get a dream from St. Louis. But Roy, that was a beautiful, beautiful dream, and thank you for reminding us about the other Cadillac, because I would not have remembered that. And boy, that was an amazing aspect of it. Well, thank you, Angel, for putting up with us here too. So we'll see you all next Wednesday if you're available. Okay, bye guys. See you later.